Hi, I'm Nick Ellis, CEO of Christian Halls International. One of the most common questions I receive is what is a Christian Hall and what can we build locally with CHI? In this video, I'll introduce you to a bit of the background of CHI, its influences, and what we're currently building in East Africa, Brazil, and now in North America. At its core, Christian Halls International is about returning governance of Christian higher education to the local community of faith. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it's returning governance. By governance, we mean that local parents, the local community of faith, has the right and the responsibility to manage the education and formation of its next generation. Now, by higher education, I mean education that is beginning after high school. Now, some of those lines are beginning to blur in recent days with the introduction of dual credit, community college, and many of the other things that people use currently to save money and avoid going into debt. So let's just say that by higher education, I mean from dual credit, undergraduate, and graduate education. What we're doing at Christian Halls International is to give the assets, resources, and partnerships necessary so those local communities of faith can take back the oversight and the discipleship in this very significant time of formation. Now, what do I mean by the local community of faith? We're a Christian organization. We work across the denominational spectrum. Basically, if you find yourself within the Apostolic Creed, the historic confessions of faith, CHI exists to serve you and to serve your community. Now, the key question we're going to ask is, who governs higher education within this community of faith? Ultimately, these institutions and structures exist to serve the core foundation of our society, which is the family, the local community, and then our broader society. Now, there's a historical basis for some of this tension that we find between local and centralized. Really, from the beginning of the Christian community, centers of education began to be set up across the communities of faith. So in Jerusalem and in Caesarea and in Alexandria and many other places, schools and communities were set up to provide a solid education within a Christian worldview. Some of these became monastic communities. And so you find that in the monasteries, for really the first 1,000 years of Christianity, most of the education took place within that local community. There were some problems with this because some of those monasteries kind of went off the rails. Independent abbots or leadership, off without accountability or structure, began to teach whatever they wanted. And there was a response from the leadership of the church at the time. And so you begin to see some centralization of education by the rise of the cathedral schools in places like Oxford and Paris and other places across historic Christendom. This provided a centralization and a strong quality control mechanism within the university systems that were being set up. What we're doing at Christian Halls International is really trying to bring the two together. We work with quality universities and seminaries and build the communities and the structures necessary for local students to receive quality higher education, resourced by some of the very best Christian universities and seminaries in the world. I started CHI because we had a number of problems and opportunities that were beginning to emerge within our current culture. First of all, secularism and loss of transcendence now rule in what once was a pluralistic society. In parallel with this, the church has in many ways lost governance or given over governance in educating its own next generation. We have begun to outsource education to what have proven to be unfaithful stewards. And finally, at this key moment, our national education system has abandoned virtue formation as a core principle in its curriculum and value structure. We remain convinced that education is primarily virtue formation and only secondarily data transfer. So what is the response from Christian Halls International? At its core, Christian Halls International is a network of microcampuses. They are anchored in regional communities of faith, in collaborative partnership with some of the best Christian colleges and universities. These microcampuses are not a franchise. They are locally governed, locally operated communities that have come together in cooperation to serve their local communities through high-quality education. CHI exists to resource those communities with top-tier educational opportunities. Our core values are local governance, Christ-centered worldview, saying no to debt, and a firm commitment to the historic faith within the Christian church. In many ways, this structure, these Christian halls, are based on my experiences at the University of Oxford, found in this unique tutorial method still used in Oxford and Cambridge, that infuses the Christian Hall with local academic formation and mentorship. So what we have in Oxford is we have a system in which multiple different colleges exist around the city, but those students study and get their degrees at the university. My college is Wycliffe Hall, which is a evangelical seminary in the heart of Oxford. Yes, many of my lectures came from the university, and while the university provided a fantastic library and many other academic resources, my formation was found in college with my tutors, with my supervisor, and with my cohort of other graduate students. In a similar manner, the Christian Hall exists as a network of private halls and colleges, working with a variety of seminaries and universities, and then deploying these university degrees out into our communities of faith. We work with homeschool co-ops and schools and churches and businesses to transform those local communities where students can come, receive mentorship, academic tutorials, a robust, durable community of faith as they study at some of the best Christian colleges and universities. For example, we have academic partnerships with universities like LeTourneau University, which can provide dual credit undergraduate and graduate degrees in business and Bible, STEM, aviation, engineering, and other top-tier academic programs. LeTourneau University serves as the Christian Polytechnic University. Other universities may have other specialties. For example, King's College provides a top-tier program in politics, philosophy, and economics. What are some of the examples of things we've built with Christian Halls International? Well, one of our top requests is to come in and build a Christian community college. Many of our students, especially in homeschool and private schools, feel the pressure to avoid the debt generated by the exorbitant costs of modern university education. However, many of those students, as they begin to enroll through dual credit in local community colleges, have found that those community colleges do not match up to their expectations of Christian worldview, quality, transferability, and virtue formation. So we have found that across North America, there is a general demand for Christian community college alternatives. One of the top demands that we have from our communities across North America is a faith-based trade school. And so we are working to provide a trade school option that includes local certification, licensure, and hands-on experience in the local business community. We have requests for local Bible colleges, business schools, honors colleges, and even public policy institutes. All of these are possible with the programs and partnerships that we have acquired. However, they will not be possible without local mentors, local tutors, local fellows, local directors who are willing to say, we are going to build this. In our partnership in Henderson, Nebraska, for example, most of the demand is for a Bible college or a general studies college to provide biblical worldview and associate's degrees in general education. The needs of a community like the Woodlands in North Houston are quite different. Reading the classics, reading the greats, and providing a community where great literature can be studied and discussed in a Socratic dialectical manner. In the process of starting up these campuses, we learned a number of things. There are some perceived needs from students, parents, and community leaders. We found that solutions in this space must be cost-effective, biblically and philosophically robust, and deployable to the marketplace. Parents can no longer afford current higher education solutions, and students hate debt. In my state of Texas, for example, Collin County Community College has over 60,000 students. However, Collin County Community College is not faith-friendly and does not represent the needs of our Christian families. So overall, we are calling people, first of all, to be a builder. And if you can't be a builder, we'd call on you to become a patron and support those local builders who are taking that stand. We need your support both nationally as we build up a team to go and train and deploy across our regions, and also regionally to help support our local membership as they take on the task of training the next generation. Very practically speaking, how does this work out? The base model for Christian Halls International is that our universities serve as the degree-granting institutions. Locally, however, our tutors and our fellows serve very much like my college tutors in Oxford, providing weekly tutorials, Socratic discussion. Increasingly, however, we have found that we need to bring on more teaching talent. And so many of our tutors and fellows end up teaching actively for our universities as the instructor of record. So if you would like to serve as a tutor or a fellow in a local Christian hall, or if you would like to teach for some of our universities, we want to talk to you. Our vision is to steward and cultivate the Christian intellectual tradition in service of our local communities of faith. I would encourage you to contact us at Christian Halls International and talk to us if you're interested in participating in this national and international mission.